If you feel stuck, it's not because you lack power, it's because you've forgotten how to use it. Your mind can build empires or prisons, and right now it's running a script that no longer serves you. But listen carefully, not just skimming or skipping, but truly absorbing these words, and you will walk away transformed. You will carry motion in your veins, fire in your thoughts, and certainty in your steps. But if you drift, if you only half listen like the thousands who say they want more but live less, your chains will remain locked, not due to weakness, but because you refuse to hear. So I offer you this moment. The key is here. The chain is rusted. Freedom waits on the other side of your decision to absorb every word. You were not born to drift. You were born to dominate. Yet here you are, alive but not truly living, awake but not fully aware, stuck not because your legs are bound, but because your thoughts are. This is the tragedy of the modern man. He walks freely through the world, but is held hostage in the mind. Most men live inside invisible cages, not iron or stone, but fear, doubt, indecision, cages built from others' beliefs, inherited stories, childhood whispers, rejections hardened into walls. Those bars sound like this: I'm too late. I'm not ready. What if I fail again? Now hear this truth, not gently but with fire. If you do not destroy this cage, it will bury you alive. If you do not command your mind, your life will not be yours. And if you wait for clarity, confidence, or permission, you will rot waiting. This is where most men decay slowly. Their vision turns foggy. Ambition tires. They blame the world, the timing, the conditions, but never the true jailer, their own thoughts. Let me tell you what no one will. You can escape. You can break every chain, but it will demand war, a war against comfort, false identity, the voice that says you should be grateful for what you have, when deep inside you know you were made for more. Henry Ford wasn't the smartest engineer. He was mocked, laughed at, sued even, but he never let others' doubt become his own. He said, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. That wasn't just a phrase. It was a formula. Thought equals identity. Identity equals action. Action equals reality. And if your thoughts are sick, so is your life now. Here's your first practice. Take out a notebook, a page, anything, and write this sentence. The reason I feel stuck is, then write. Write until the truth stings. Is it fear? Laziness disguised as overthinking? Shame? Then below that, write, if I don't change this, what will my life look like in 5 years? Look at it. Feel it. Let it disgust you. Because disgust is often the first step toward change. Now affirm, I am not stuck. I am being summoned to rise. Say it again, louder, with the force of someone breaking free from a cell. This moment is not the end. It's the breaking point. The moment you'll remember as the start of everything. But only if you act. Only if you listen fully. Because next you'll see the root of your chains and how to melt them with one truth. Ready? Let's continue. The reason most men stay stuck is simple. They wait for a feeling, a sign, certainty. They want fire before the first spark. But the subconscious doesn't work like that. It's no motivator, it's a mirror. It doesn't care if you succeed or remain average, become legend or ghost. It simply reflects what you repeat, not what you wish. You may say you want freedom, but if your inner voice says, I can't do this, I always sabotage myself, or I'm never consistent, then that is your reality. The subconscious doesn't argue, it obeys. It's the most powerful servant in the world, yet most treat it like a stranger, whispering doubt instead of commanding it. Here's what you must know. Your subconscious won't wake you up one day with confidence. It won't turn on when timing feels right. It only echoes the commands you give it, consistently, destructive or divine. Let me tell you a story proving this. The man who created the light bulb failed 10,000 times. When asked why he kept going, he didn't say, because I felt good or I was confident. He said, I didn't fail. I found 10,000 ways that didn't work. That's not emotion. That's command. Edison never asked his subconscious for permission. He trained it to believe success was inevitable, no matter the delay. He didn't hope for success. He installed it through daily repetition, decision, and identity. And you must do the same. The longer you feed hesitation, the more it becomes your script. The longer you dwell on weakness, the more it becomes your identity. The longer you wait to feel like it, the more your subconscious believes comfort is commander. So here's your practice. Not someday, not later, now. Write this down. The belief that keeps me stuck is, identify it, name it. Don't dress it up. Don't be poetic. Be real. Is it, I'll never be like them? Every time I try, I mess up. I'm too old. I missed my window. I'm not smart enough. Write the ugliest, deepest one, then burn it. Literally burn that page as a ceremony. That belief is no longer welcome. Now write its replacement. I command my mind to obey this new identity and follow it. With this, I am the man who executes. I am the man who finishes. I am the man who succeeds. Repeat it loud, slow, with conviction. Do it 100 times this week. Say it in front of the mirror, walking, alone, every day. You're not just speaking words. You're laying new bricks in the house of your mind, rewriting the programming that silently sabotaged your life. Remember, the subconscious doesn't argue. It obeys. So let it obey the highest version of you. Let it obey the man who acts without permission, the voice of purpose, not fear, command, not feeling. I do not wait to feel ready. I act and my mind follows. That is your identity. Now say it again. I act and my mind follows. Now breathe, stand, look yourself in the eyes. The man you just spoke to is being built with every repetition, every step, every command. He's coming. You are not just a product of your choices. You're a reflection of your environment, the voices you hear, the habits you witness, the energy around you, all of it, every piece of your daily atmosphere silently shapes your beliefs. Environment isn't passive, it's active. If you feel stuck, it's likely because your environment pulls you backward while your soul screams to move forward. You rise to the level of what surrounds you or remain at the level of what surrounds you. That's the law. You may have a king's vision, but if you live inside a kingdom of excuses, you will speak like them, act like them, and believe you are one of them. Let me say this clearly. Very few admit it, but if you stay in a room that normalizes delay, mediocrity, distraction, and fear, you will never rise. No matter how strong your mind, your subconscious listens not just to you, it listens to the rhythm of people, habits, and messages you allow near you. That's why Andrew Carnegie didn't just build steel. He built a mastermind, a group of men whose very presence forced growth. Men who never asked, is this too bold? Men who challenged each other to act before comfort arrived. Men whose standards were so high that just standing beside them made you think bigger, because energy is contagious. If you spend too long around fear, doubt, and stagnation, you catch it. You may call it logic, realism, or practicality, but the truth is you've caught the infection of smallness. Here's the most dangerous part. If you stay in that environment long enough, it starts to feel normal. And once normal, it becomes sacred. You defend what keeps you stuck. You say, oh, that's just how I am. That's how my schedule is. I don't have people like that around me. Listen closely. That's not who you are. That's how you've been programmed. Your environment carved that pattern into you, and your silence maintained it. But today, you carve something new. If you want your subconscious to believe a new life is beginning, change something physical in your environment. It can be simple, but it must be deliberate. Rearrange your desk. Clear clutter. Replace or remove art that no longer represents your future. Throw out something kept out of guilt or fear. Set an alarm daily with your new identity phrase. This is no decoration, it's a declaration. You tell your subconscious, I no longer live in the house of my former self. I no longer sleep in the bed of delay. I no longer walk in the shoes of the man who was stuck. Even one purposeful change is a seed planted in your subconscious. Once it sees a seed, it becomes willing to grow beyond the visible. Audit the invisible. Who do you listen to daily? What voices speak to your mind through books, audio, or conversation? Do you keep company with doubters or builders? Here's your rule. If a man laughs at your dream, he's not qualified to speak into your process. If a man flinches at your ambition, he can't advise your discipline. Surround yourself with standards, not sympathy. Love and support are fine, but if your circle loves you as you are, not as you could be, they're not your circle, they're your cage. Even if you're alone now, build a new circle. Start with books. Start with men who lived as you want to live. Let their stories become your environment. Read Carnegie, read Ford, read Edison. Study what they did. Copy their rituals. Adopt their mindset like armor. You don't need a new friend group to change. You need a new frequency. Once you embody it, the right people will appear. Growth doesn't tolerate comfort. You can't grow in the room where you started doubting yourself. You can't evolve while clinging to the schedule that keeps you busy but never better. You can't rise while surrounded by reminders of the man you're leaving behind. So shift something now. Rearrange your space. Upgrade what you see. Change what you listen to. Audit what you tolerate, because your subconscious watches it all. The moment it sees you no longer act like your old self, it starts to build the new one. Every man is ruled by something, whether he knows it or not. He bows to a voice, and that voice determines the quality of his life. Some men are ruled by memories they never made peace with. Others obey fears passed down like heirlooms. Some follow the voice of a father, mother, teacher, or the echo of a failure that grows louder with time. But no man escapes the law. You become what you consistently obey. So the question is not what you want. The question is whose voice you follow when no one's watching.
Not your goal determines your direction. A man may dream of wealth, strength, freedom, leadership. But if the voice he listens to whispers caution, delay, maybe later, he will never rise, no matter how big his ambition. Henry Ford had every reason to listen to the world telling him he wasn't educated, trained, or ready.
He lacked schooling, credentials, and resume. But he had a voice, his own. That voice declared, "I can summon any man with the knowledge I require." He didn't obey tradition, experts, or fear. He obeyed his vision. And because of that, he built an empire. The chains that keep most men stuck aren't steel, they're repetition. The same thoughts, excuses, inner dialogue, emotional obedience. A man doesn't even realize he's kneeling anymore. But obedience is a habit. The more you follow a weak voice, the more you reinforce the identity of weakness. Ask yourself and write it down. Who am I obeying? Fear, comfort, my old self, the one who gave up before trying, or a higher command, a vision, mission, standard that burns even when I don't want to follow? You may think you lack discipline. You don't. You've just been trained to obey the wrong voice. Notice when you say, "I'll do it later." Whose voice is that? When you delay the workout, avoid risk, or hide from confrontation. When you act with power, move decisively, speak clearly, stand tall. Whose voice did you listen to? There are only two commands every moment. One leads to freedom, the other to slavery. You always choose. Every action is allegiance. You either reinforce the identity of the man you were or the man you are becoming. Your breakthrough won't come from a new technique, strategy, or external answer. It comes the day you stop listening to the weak voice and start obeying the one who sees your future. So I ask with ruthless honesty, do you obey fear, your past, or do you obey vision? This isn't just mindset, it's warfare. The battlefield is between your ears. Every man hears two voices, one pulling toward destiny, one dragging back into the mud of the familiar. The difference between the weak and the strong isn't about hearing less noise, it's about refusing to obey it. Fear can scream all at once, but what truly matters is how often you answer back. Every time you obey fear, you feed it. Starting now, make this your new creed. I obey command, not comfort. I follow the voice of my future, not my past. Say it until it sinks in. Speak it loud. Carve it into your routine. Whisper it before you act. Then prove it when your alarm blares early and your body begs you to stay. Whisper, I obey command, not comfort. When it's time to write, to build, to speak, or show up, and doubt whispers you're not ready, answer, I follow the voice of my future, not my past. When resistance rises and urges you to retreat, declare, I am not ruled by what I feel. I am ruled by what I choose. You're not alone in disobeying fear to gain freedom. Carnegie ignored the voices telling him to stay small. Lincoln defied those who urged him to bend under pressure. Edison ignored impossible 10,000 times. They all rose, not because fear never whispered, but because they refused to obey its commands. Now the choice is yours. Every breath, every action, every moment. What voice will you obey? Obedience isn't neutral. It shapes your identity. Whatever voice you follow, that's who you become. The free man isn't one who feels no fear. He's one who hears fear and disobeys. Most men aren't stuck from lack of desire. They're stuck because their desire is foggy, hazy, undefined, always shifting. They feel hunger, ambition even, but without clarity, they can't move with power. They spin their wheels, grind their days away, and stay exactly where they are. Desire without clarity is like fire without direction. It burns but never forges. Nothing in this world is more powerful than a definite desire. A man who knows exactly what he wants grows immune to distractions. His will sharpens his mind, filters his focus, and weighs down his spirit with resolve. You can see it in how he walks, talks, and chooses what to ignore. Yet most never name their desire. They hope vaguely, wish passively. They say, I want to be successful, or I want to be rich, or I want to be free. But the subconscious doesn't respond to vague hopes. It demands precision. It must know where to go. True desire is carved from thought like a sculptor chisels stone. Ask yourself now, what do I truly want? Not just today, not just this year, deeply, eternally. If fear, resistance, and the voices urging safety vanished, what target would you name? One man says, I want to make more money. That's not desire. It's a vague hope, easy to forget and delay. Another says, I want to build a business earning $500,000 a year, help 10,000 people transform their lives, and retire my parents. That is clarity. That is direction. And because it's clear, it activates the subconscious like a magnet. Edwin C. Barnes in Think and Grow Rich didn't say, I want to work in business. He didn't say, I hope for a good job with Thomas Edison. He said, I will become Edison's partner. Though he had no money, no connections, no formal education, Barnes succeeded,
not because of better tools, but because of a definite chief aim and refusal to settle for vagueness. His clarity burned so deeply that even while doing lowly tasks, even as years passed with no visible progress, he never doubted. He saw the end in his mind long before it existed in reality. That's the power of desire, fueled by belief. It becomes a path. Write this down now. Make it personal. Desire backed by belief becomes a path. What you believe becomes what you build, but what you don't name can never be built. Your practice is this. Write your definite chief aim. Not tomorrow, not after a few more pages. Now. Answer, if I could build one result without fear of failure, what would it be? Be specific. Make it concrete. What do you want? How much? By when? For what purpose? Once written, speak it aloud every morning. Yes, aloud. Not for the world's ears, but for your own. The part of you that doubts, delays, forgets. That version must hear daily who you are becoming. A man who hears himself declare his purpose awakens a power inside. Hesitation loosens its grip. His day rearranges itself around his aim. Opportunities no longer slip away because he notices what aligns and discards what doesn't. This is how clarity becomes freedom. Without it, you drift, always moving, never arriving. With it, you move like a man with a compass. Even when storms come, you know where you're going. Understand this. Desire without clarity is noise. Desire with clarity is destiny. Ford, Carnegie, Lincoln, none started with perfect plans, but they had something better, burning clarity of purpose. Because they knew their mission, they endured more, risked more, and achieved more than anyone who was merely interested. So I ask again, what do you want? If you don't know, you're not yet ready to rise. Rising demands direction, and direction is born when you stop lying to yourself about what you truly want. The man who is clear wastes no time. He doesn't argue distractions or debate with drifters. He isn't shaken by storms. He simply moves forward, knowing where forward is. Say this now, my desire is clear, my path is known. I move forward not by emotion, but by command. From today forward, never let a morning pass without reading your definite chief aim. This isn't motivation, it's a command for identity. The man who obeys it becomes it. Doubt isn't from being unprepared, it comes from being still. Every hesitation waters fear's roots. Every overthink adds a brick to the wall that separates you from power. We speak of courage, confidence, belief, but the truth is they come after action, not before. You don't become courageous and then move. You move, then discover courage. You don't build belief by reading. You build it by doing what your fear tells you not to. Doubt thrives in darkness and stillness. Action is the light that kills it. This isn't theory, it's law. Abraham Lincoln made some of history's greatest decisions, ending slavery, holding a broken nation together. He did it not because he was fearless, but because he acted in spite of fear. Imagine the weight on his shoulders, hundreds of thousands of lives, the future of a divided country. Still, he never waited for fear to disappear. He acted anyway. That's the difference between the man who transforms the world and the man transformed by it. The man who moves wins. The man who waits watches. The world rewards the movers. Train yourself to act while afraid. Interrupt hesitation with motion. Every step forward reclaims ground. Every action takes your life back from doubt. Here's a powerful exercise. Write your fear list. Name every fear, stealing your momentum. Are you afraid of failure, rejection, financial ruin, criticism? Are you afraid you're not good enough, that you'll try and still fall short? Write them all. Then next to each fear, write one opposing action you can take in the next 48 hours. Not days, not someday, 48 hours. If you fear rejection, send the proposal. If you fear judgment, speak your truth publicly. Whatever it is, move toward it.
Even one step. Because what holds you captive isn't fear itself, but the story you tell about it. When you move, you interrupt that story. You break the spell. You prove by action that your fear was never as powerful as your mind believed. Repeat this to yourself. I act while afraid. That is courage. I am no longer rehearsing. This is the performance. This is no longer the season for preparation. You've prepared long enough. You've waited long enough. You've read the books, made the plans, dreamed the dreams. Now it's time to walk into the storm, knowing this. Once you move, momentum becomes your ally. Energy gathers around your steps. The universe, your subconscious, your very cells understand you are serious. Doubt shrinks when you move. Fear bends when you act. Hesitation dies the moment you disobey it. You don't need to feel ready. You only need to be willing. The willing man becomes the man who wins. Make this shift now. Make acting in defiance of fear your habit. You will be reborn, not because fear vanished, but because it lost control. Write your list. Take your steps. Live this truth. Action is the cure. Because the chains that hold you now aren't made of steel. They are made of hesitation. Break them. The man who walks away finds a way out. not always instantly, but eventually, and when he does, he forfeits not just a goal, but the identity that could have grown in the fire. History remembers not those who played it safe, but those who went all in. Henry Ford risked everything on the Model T. When advisors, bankers, and engineers said it couldn't be done, he didn't pivot or hedge. He said, produce it. Anyway, he gave himself no escape. That's why the Model T didn't just change transportation, it changed history, because the man behind it had only one option, victory. Most fail not from lack of skill, but because they keep their exits open. They say, if it doesn't work out, I'll go back to school. If this fails, I'll return to the old job. I'll try this for now, but keep other options open. But leaving doors unlocked invites fear in. Every escape plan votes against your success. There's only one way to build greatness. Walk to the edge, burn the bridge behind you, and say there is no going back. I will win or I will die trying. This may sound extreme to the comfortable man, but the ready man knows comfort never produced greatness. Certainty never birthed transformation. Safety never wrote history. If you want freedom, give up the illusion of fallback. Every time you fall back, you return to someone, the doubter, the delayer, the settler. Every time you return, you make that man stronger. You give him a voice. You say your old way is still an option. It cannot be. You must burn the bridge. Here's your practice. Declare your goal publicly. Speak it aloud. Write it where you see it every day. Tell others. Accountability forces your subconscious to align with your commitment. Then remove the backup plan. Delete plan B. Stop investing time, money, energy into alternatives. Put everything into one direction. Not two, not 10, one. This doesn't mean acting recklessly. It means acting decisively. When your back is against the wall, the real you shows up. The version you never knew existed. The one who performs, solves, creates, endures. That version can't emerge while you keep your escape keys. Say this now. I do not keep the door open. I burn the bridge behind me. I do not plan retreat. I prepare for victory. Write this down. Commit it. He who keeps an option to quit will quit, but not you. Not now. You are becoming the man who goes all in, commits with fire, and leaves only ashes behind. A man who waits to feel like it, waits his whole life. That's the graveyard of potential, the lie that emotion must lead, that if you don't feel like building, you're not ready. But the men who break free, who build fortune, influence, and freedom, they don't wait for mood permission. They build rituals that override momentary feelings, because motivation is fleeting, ritual is dependable. Andrew Carnegie didn't build an empire because he felt more inspired. He built it because he demanded structure of thought and action from himself and his men. His best leaders were forged in routine. They lived by systems, not feelings. One of Carnegie's most powerful rules was, no man under my command waits to feel. He begins, he builds. Let this be your new standard. No more asking, how do I feel? Ask only, what ritual have I committed to today? Now here's a framework for you. 3 daily rituals to rewire your identity, reshape your mind, and build the discipline of achievement. First, morning self-talk. Before the world touches your mind, you must touch it first. Direct it, train it, command it. Before speaking to anyone else, speak to yourself clearly, powerfully, with certainty. Don't drift into the day with thoughts handed to you by fear or memory. Create your own declaration. Say it aloud with intensity. I command my mind. I command my body. I am the architect of this day. No thought lives here unless I allow it. No fear survives unless I feed it. Today, I build. I do not ask for power. I generate it. This practice takes 3 minutes. But those 3 minutes will define your entire day. 2. Read your definite chief aim. A man without direction drifts. A man with direction builds. But a man who reminds himself of his direction every day becomes unstoppable. This is a cornerstone of Think and Grow Rich, the definite chief aim. Yet most men write it once and never speak it again. If you're serious about freedom, you will read it daily. Not like a chore, like a decree. Stand tall, read it out loud, breathe as you speak, believe every word. Let this daily reading remind your subconscious, this is who I am, this is where I'm going. Don't change it often, keep it steady. Let its repetition work on you like waves shaping stone. 3. Silent visualization of identity. Before you face the noise of the world, go into silence, close your eyes, breathe, see yourself, not as you were, not as you are, but as the man you are becoming. See him walk into rooms with power. See him make bold decisions. See him refuse to delay. See him lead, build, create, command. Visualization is not fantasy. It is instruction. You're giving your subconscious a blueprint. Your nervous system, your thoughts, your actions begin to follow it. 5 minutes. That's all it takes. Repeated daily, this practice becomes a spiritual muscle, one that bends reality in your favor. Don't skip this. What you see with intensity, you begin to build with certainty. These 3 rituals, done daily,
form the foundation of transformation. They are the scaffolding of freedom, the structure that carries you when emotion fails. They are the new voice, the new rhythm, the new pattern, and repetition turns patterns into identity. Write this now. My rituals build my reality. Repetition is the bridge to freedom. Understand this. The man who builds daily becomes the man who wins inevitably, because ritual isn't about excitement, it's about installation. Motivation comes and goes, but systems don't ask questions. They run. You will run your day, or your old self will. The only way to ensure you control it is to build the day before it begins. So begin now, not tomorrow, not next week. Now say the words, read your aim, see the man. Never again depend on motivation when you have ritual. The reason most men stay stuck isn't lack of vision, it's that they see their vision as separate from who they are. They think success is something to achieve, when in truth, it's something to embody. You do not rise to the level of your dreams. You fall to the level of your identity. That's why goals without identity change fail. A man may write a goal down, may speak it aloud for weeks, but if deep inside he still believes he's not the man who earns it, holds it, lives it, he will find 1,000 silent ways to sabotage it, because identity always wins. The mind only allows into your life what matches who you believe you are. So understand this now. You are not here to try to succeed. You are not here to attempt transformation. You are here to become the man who already lives it. The bridge to that identity is visualization, but not the kind where you imagine a car or a house or a number on a bank statement. That is wishful fantasy, surface-level dreaming. The visualization that transforms a man is this. See yourself as the man who already deserves it. Close your eyes. Breathe. See yourself waking early with power, speaking with clarity and certainty, commanding rooms, commanding your thoughts, executing tasks without delay, rejecting doubt, walking into each day like it's yours to conquer. See this man in vivid detail. Watch how he walks. Feel how he breathes. Hear how he speaks. This is not a game. This is not imagination. This is installation. The subconscious is not logical. It's emotional and visual. It doesn't respond to charts or lists.
It responds to repetition and image. If you feed your subconscious the vision of a strong, decisive, relentless man, it begins to reprogram your behavior to match. Slowly, old patterns fall away. Hesitation fades. Self-doubt becomes foreign. Why? Because your system has received new instructions. This is how Charles M. Schwab rose from a lowly worker to Carnegie's right hand. It wasn't just skill. It was presence, posture, identity. Long before Schwab commanded steel empires, he moved through life as if he already did. He spoke like a leader. He thought like one. He made decisions like one. He wore the uniform of identity, and reality had to conform. You can do the same. Do this exercise each morning after your rituals. Stand in silence for 5 minutes. Close your eyes. Visualize not your goals, but yourself as the man who naturally produces those goals. Picture your habits. Picture your reactions. Picture your focus. Now say one sentence aloud. I am not trying to succeed. I am becoming success. Repeat it until it feels true, because when it becomes true inside, it begins to shape the outside. This is the law. This is how you break the chain, by installing the vision of the man you are becoming until the current you begins to dissolve in its presence. No more saying, I will try. Say, this is who I am. Your subconscious doesn't need a goal. It needs a blueprint. Give it one daily. Because if you feed your mind a clear emotional image of who you are becoming, your behavior, focus, energy, and decisions will have no choice but to obey. Write this now. I am not chasing results. I am becoming the man who produces them. Then prove it in how you speak, how you walk, how you show up. This is the escape path. It is not a someday fantasy. It is a decision repeated until it becomes identity. Freedom is not born in a breakthrough moment. It's born in something far less glamorous, far more powerful, repetition. One moment of inspiration may open the door, but only daily repetition will carry you through. Every man wants to feel free, but few are willing to rehearse freedom until it becomes their default. Most wait for the feeling. The exceptional few install freedom through repetition. Understand this now. The subconscious doesn't care if something is true or false. It only cares if it's repeated. Whatever is repeated with emotion becomes law. You don't escape fear by wrestling it once. You escape it by starving it of attention, by feeding your identity new truths every single day. This is the path. This is the practice. Don't make this mistake. Don't listen once and expect change. Listen again. Repeat the words. Memorize the phrases. Burn them into your bloodstream until your nervous system reacts differently to fear, to hesitation, to the lies of your old self. This is how you rewire the loop. This is how the cage collapses, not with force, but with consistency. Now here are 7 affirmations of liberation. Say them now, again tonight, again tomorrow morning. Say them until they stop feeling like affirmations and start feeling like identity. I no longer obey fear. I create motion daily. My identity leads my feelings. I am not waiting to become free. I am rehearsing freedom. Each breath I install power. My habits create the man, not my hopes. I do not entertain the old story. I write a new one daily. Speak these with force. Don't whisper. Shout them if you must. Let them echo in your chest. The world has fed you enough lies about your limits. It's time you feed yourself truth on loop. Let repetition become your ritual. Let the daily word become your internal law. Let freedom be the result of practice, not accident. From this moment on, don't wait to feel worthy. Declare it daily, until old doubt has no home in your mind. Repeat this with finality. I do not need a miracle. I need a moment repeated until I become it. This is how you become free, not by inspiration but by instruction, by rewriting your reality, one declaration at a time, until even your silence begins to speak. Freedom. Right now at this very moment, you stand on a line between 2 worlds. Behind you, the old pattern, the old loop, the old identity that says I'm stuck. Ahead, the man you were meant to become, standing tall, waiting, not for permission but for your decision. You're not just making a choice today, you're showing your future self what kind of man you are. He is watching. He's watching to see. Will you retreat to comfort, or will you rise even while uncertain? Will you fall into old excuses, or will you become the architect of your becoming? Being stuck isn't a life sentence. It's a daily habit, a loop of hesitation repeated so many times it becomes a personality. But that's all it is, repetition of avoidance. And what breaks it? Repetition, a decision spoken aloud, acted upon, repeated until it becomes law. This is the moment you declare what kind of man you are, not by emotion but by command. Speak this now with force, with backbone, with full conviction. I'm the type of person who is decisive. I'm the type of person who is focused. I'm the type of person who has faith. I'm the type of person who has a burning desire. I'm the type of person who is disciplined. Repeat it again, this time, not as a man trying to convince himself, but as the man who knows it's already true. I'm the type of person who is decisive. I'm the type of person who is focused. I'm the type of person who has faith. I'm the type of person who has a burning desire. I'm the type of person who is disciplined. Why do we repeat? Because the world has fed you lies for years. Because fear has whispered the same doubts for decades. If you don't repeat your own truth, your old programming will. If you don't feed your subconscious daily, the world will feed it for you. With fear, with distraction, with mediocrity disguised as realism. So we speak again. We speak louder, until silence echoes the same identity. This isn't hype. This is a war for identity. The man who wins is the man who repeats his power louder than his past repeated doubt. Every time you declare who you are, every time you affirm the man you are becoming, your future self watches. He nods. He steps closer. Stuck only exists when identity is undefined. The moment you decide, this is who I am, the chains loosen, the fog lifts, action returns. From this day forward, speak of yourself not in limitation, but in leadership. Say it. I am disciplined, even if I'm trembling. I am focused, even when distracted. I am decisive, even in uncertainty, because identity is not born from truth. It's born from decision, once spoken, acted upon and repeated. You become it. So I ask you now, what kind of man do you want to meet 5 years from now? If you say a man who is free, bold, built from focus, action and inner fire, know this, that man is watching. He doesn't care about your circumstances. He cares only about your decisions. So decide boldly. Speak daily, repeat with power, because your future isn't waiting to happen. Your future is watching who you are becoming. You thought you were stuck. You told yourself you were broken, lost, lacking direction, waiting for life to begin again. But the truth is greater. You were never stuck. You were becoming. The pressure you felt was growth in disguise. The heaviness of resistance was training your spirit. The silence was forging your voice. Every delay, every doubt, every moment of stillness, not a prison, but preparation. No man rises without a season of becoming. No oak grows without first splitting its seed. No empire is built without first testing its foundation. Now, you're no longer guessing. You're no longer circling old thoughts. You've spoken new words, built new patterns, declared a new identity. You didn't just listen. You rewired your soul. The man who started this journey isn't the man who finishes it. The chains, you held the key all along. Fear only lived as long as you fed it. Doubt died the moment you remembered who you were becoming. So repeat this truth, not as a man hoping to believe it, but as one who knows. I was never stuck. I was becoming. I was never broken. I was building. I was never weak. I was waiting to be called into strength. Now that strength is yours. Let us finish with one final declaration.
Not whispered, declared daily, clearly, without apology. I'm the type of person who is decisive. I'm the type of person who is focused. I'm the type of person who has faith. I'm the type of person who has a burning desire. I'm the type of person who is disciplined. Repeat it again and again, not until you remember it, but until you forget who you used to be.